Hello friends, it's Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. Today I have part 3 of my Snowflake Splendor, it's a mouthful, suite of products showcase. So the last 2 videos I did, I showcased some of the other products in this. First we started with just the stamp set, then last time we added in the dies in the designer series paper. Well, today we're going to bring in that gorgeous glitter paper, and I'm going to show you kind of a fun window card, we're going to call it. So it's a little bit more to it. Okay, we've kind of gradually gone from really quick and easy to stepping it up a little bit, and this time this is a little over the top. But it's still easy because I don't make anything that's not easy. So it may look hard. The only difference between this and a really quick and easy card is it takes a little bit more time. A little more stuff, a little bit more time, but it's still easy, and I know that all of you can make it if you like the design of this card. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead, flip the camera down, and let's get to stamping this card. So like I said, we're using the Snowflake Splendor Suite of products. Now we're adding in this Balmy Blue Glimmer Paper. We're going to use the embossing folder, the designer series paper, and the bundle. So lots of stuff on this card. But this set of dies has kind of a unique die that I wanted to feature because it's for making a window card. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, this paper is so pretty. You can see on here like the different patterns. These are the flip sides of them. So we've got more that are just kind of a watercolory wash, and then we've got ones with the snowflakes. Great paper, whether you want to use it with the stamps or not. It'll be great just for winter cards as well. So we're going to go ahead and start with our die. Now I have a piece of Whisper White that is 5 by 3 3/4. Now don't worry about these measurements. I will have them all over my website for you. There will be a blog post that will go right along with this video that will list all the supplies as well as the card recipe, which really means all the dimensions, so that if you'd like to make this card, you'll be able to. So we're going to go ahead, like I said, this is a window card. So this die is going to cut out the center. So I'm going to just kind of eyeball it. I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And since this is a die, a thin die, we're going to follow this recipe up here. And we're going to start with our base and then number 2. And then we put a number 3, our paper with our die. We're just going to kind of eyeball it to center it. And then another number 3 on top. I'll go run this through the machine and I shall be right back. Okay, so we can go ahead and take this, and it's just fallen right out of there. I was going to use my die brush, but I don't think I even really need to. You can see we have a couple pieces left, but that fell out really well. We can just poke these couple out there. And there is the base for our window. Isn't that pretty? You can see we get the stitching around it plus these partial snowflakes. So I'm excited to show this card that we're going to build using this piece. Now, our next step, because we're just going to use a lot of products, is we're going to go ahead and we're going to emboss this, the piece that we cut out. So you do want to make sure that whatever is your top, and you can see this one's not quite as nice. Here we've got the nice stitching. You want the top to go ahead and match up with that Stampin' Up! Logo. That way these snowflakes are going to be popping up. This side of it, they're going to be kind of popping down. Now, since we are using the embossing folder, we're going to use our middle one here, because this is a regular folder, a standard one. So we've got 1, 3 embossing folder and another 3. And then make sure that the crease in this folder is what goes through first. So let me go run this through and I'll be right back again. Okay, let's take that out of there. And look, it just gets prettier and prettier all the time. So we're going to set this aside, and then I have a piece of designer series paper, and I'm going to actually put this over that paper. Look at how pretty that is coming through. And so now we get the paper, we get the dies, we get our snowflakes, and then I'm going to use my black, and I want to stamp our May Your Season Sparkle onto the Designer Series paper there. So we're going to ink it up good. Now here's just a little tip. You know, when I haven't used a stamp in a while, I like to ink it up and stamp it on scrap paper first. This just lets me know my pad is good and inked, my stamp is inking well. We're going to do that before we go to the real thing here so we don't ruin our piece of Designer Series paper. So just lay that on top, and then I am going to try to get that right about in the middle. Give it some good pressure, and there we go. And you can see that stamps, that black stamp's really nice on this Designer Series paper. And then these pieces, what I'm going to do is actually, well, no, I don't think I need to. We're going to go ahead and use dimensionals to pop this up onto that Designer Series paper. I was thinking I needed to trim this Designer Series paper down just a little bit, but I don't think I need to. So we'll go ahead and we will use these dimensionals. Now I'm going to use quite a bit because this is a pretty big piece here, and we want to make sure it really pops up so it has that window effect. So don't be afraid to use lots of these. They're Stampin' Candy, I like to call them. Now a little tip, if you struggle peeling these backings off, you can use the end of the Take Your Pick tool and poke it in there and pop them up. And you can do quite a few of them at one time. It's a trick I recently learned. But see how you can kind of get them, and then if it gets full, pull those off. Let's see, that one doesn't want to come off. There we go. But if you struggle getting backings off, that's a little tip that you might like to give a try. That's a lot of backings. There we go. Okay. And next, we will go ahead, and you want to make sure that Designer Series paper is cut the same size. So we want to make sure we get that centered right on it, like so. And then now you can see here, this is what I was afraid of happening. See that little bit of edge all the way around? I don't like that. So what you can actually do, because it's not going to show, is just take your snips and kind of stick them underneath there. And see how I'm trimming off that Designer Series paper? You know, we've got quite a bit of room there, because really we only need to see where it goes through the window. Oops, don't, careful that you don't cut that white layer, but we can trim that down. There you go. That looks better. I'm kind of picky about things like that. And then this one, we want to get even some more dimension going. So we're going to use dimensionals on this piece as well. So lots of dimensionals. I'm going to end up using a whole sheet here before I'm done. Let's see. There we go. So let's pick these tops off. There we go. And then this piece we're going to put onto, that is Pool Party that I'm using for this one, because that is the coordinating color of our Designer Series paper that we used. Then I have a Whisper White thick card base. Anytime I'm using Whisper White for my card base, I do like to use the thick. Just gives it a little bit more steadiness to it. We'll put some adhesive on the back of this and center that up on here. You can see, you know, there's a lot of white going on this card, but look at how pretty that is. Got that nice little window, lots of great texture going. And there's that, but we're not done yet. Let's set this aside here. And I told you we were going to use that pretty blue glimmer paper. Now, I typically don't use a lot of glitter. I don't like dazzling diamonds or the glitter that gets everywhere. I hate the glitter mess, to be honest. But I do kind of like this paper. It's very pretty, and it's not messy. So again, we're going to use thin dies. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to put our paper down, and let's grab a couple of our snowflake dies here. We're going to do that one and that one. Let's see, I don't know, is this one going to be too big? I don't think so. We'll do those 3. And then we'll stick this on top, and let me go run that through the die cutter, and I'll be right back. Here we go. Look at that. Those fell like right out of there. And you know what? I probably should have run that through twice. There we go. We can see better on this side. You know, this paper is just a little bit thicker. Sometimes on your die cutting machine if you run it through like forward and backward a couple of times. But when I go and I do this on the back side, you can see how they're coming out. They just need a little bit more love to get them out of there. There we go. Let's see, we got a couple pieces stuck in there. Let's get all of those out. So there is one. Let's see what this one looks like. Got a couple in there too. And that one looks like it's all out of there. Okay, you guys, I got such a mess here. You should see my table. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to add these snowflakes now onto our card. Now, we got to kind of strategically place them because we obviously can't come off the edge of the card. We still want to see these snowflakes. So I think we can put one at the top there. Now, I like to just use this liquid adhesive again, and we're going to get that going and just put little dots in the middle. We don't want too much because we don't want it to goosh out. Spread it around there. But if I get it on the middle, that's going to hold that good enough. We don't have to stick everything down. So let's put that one right there. Press that down. And then, let's see, we got our next bigger one. I think we can go right about there. Now, because of this window, we got to kind of strategically place this. So we're just going to put adhesive down on these bottom two pieces. You know, this is too thin to put dimensionals under it. Glue doesn't want to come out. I think this bottle's just about empty here. But we can't really put dimensionals under these, so we need to put them up on this window part. And that adhesive is going to hold it really well, even though there's not adhesive all the way around. And then for number 3, let's put that one over here. So now this is Balmy Blue, this glimmer paper, but with that pool party, it just lends a nice soft winter touch to it. So there we go. Now don't forget about our insides. I should have done that before I glued all that on, but let's flip that open. And then we will use Snowflake Wishes. Now this is pretty snowflakey card, so we better use this with it. So let's go ahead and stamp Snowflake Wishes on the inside. And then I do have my pool party pad here. And let's stamp some snowflakes. So everything coordinates. And you can see now how we've used a lot of the products from the suite. And don't they coordinate lovely? So there you go. Now I have another one that I've made using a different paper. There you go. This one kind of features more that balmy blue color, so the snowflakes do match a little bit, but I think with a pool party, they still look nice because you've got all that fun sparkle going in there. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this card. At first glance, it may look hard, but it's not hard. It's still an easy card. It just took a little bit longer to make it and a little bit more stuff is what I like to say. So if you would like to purchase this suite of products or any parts of it, hop over to my website. The link will be down in the description of the video and you'll see pictures of these cards over there along with the card recipe and the list of everything I use to make it. Now as a reminder, I previously showed other cards with this, so let me grab those and just give you one last peek at them. The first video in this series focused on just the stamps, and we did some random stamping and made some simple cards, added that gingham ribbon on there, so that's kind of a completely different look. And then in part 2, we embossed our designer series paper, and you can see how pretty that watercolor wash paper is. Add some snowflakes, a few rhinestones and an embossed greeting on there, and there you go. So lots of ideas with this stamp set. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed all the tips I shared in all 3 of the videos. And again, if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would be honored and love to be that person. Make sure to get a hold of me, leave me a comment, send me an email if I can help you in any way. And if you need a Stampin' Up! Catalog, over on my website, you can request one of those as well. So I'll be stamping again with you real soon. But until then, have a stamp happy day.